Yeah, this week has been filled with, not just this week, like this year, basically, has been filled with a lot of controversies in the tech space. Now, from the end of last week to the beginning of this week, we saw something I've never seen in my short life. Or I've never really understood it. Maybe if it happened, maybe I didn't understand it when it happened, but a bank run happened. That was a very, very weird thing. So Silicon Valley Bank shut down. While something serious was also going on, a different debate was also going on the other side of tech internet. They are claiming Samsung is faking it with their 100 times zoom with pictures of the moon. So with Samsung, you can actually zoom into the moon and get a very, very, very nice picture with their 100 times camera. Someone accused Samsung of replacing the image with an existing image of the moon. But you should really check MKBHD and Mr. Who's the Boss videos explaining how that actually happened. But yeah, that's just the world of tech for you. And it's leading me to ask questions. So what is a photo? What does it mean to take a good photo? And if you take a photo and I'm looking ugly and all my pimples are coming out, is that really a good photo?
Is it not your pimples?
It's not my pimples. Look at you. Yeah, welcome to the Techpoint Africa Podcast, people. My name is Emmanuel and...
Yeah, I'm Bolu.
I'm Oluwanifemi.
Good. So, what is a photo? If all your blemishes are showing, would you want to share it on Instagram and all of that?
Yep.
So, that's the thing now. Yeah? You
So
yourself
they give us
original.
what we want.
Yeah, they give you what you want.
Everybody's a liar. We're all fake.
Or everybody
fake
love lies.
We
If
love
everybody
lies.
love light, must you be a liar to me? I'll show you my pimples if I have.
I mean, hey,
I can see it now.
stock price has to go up.
Guys, she's now using it to sell market. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's fine. But yeah, today we're talking about serious stuff, right? And a little bit of sad stuff. And I would try and implore you guys not to look sad by talking about this. But Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. Then good news actually. The Nigerian federal government launched a $673 million fund. And Meta laid off again. Very, very weird. I'm beefing Zuckerberg now. I used to be a fan, but I'm beefing him now. And something else happened. Yes, we've been talking about why Combinator laid off.
Yep.
And they've ended their growth stage investment in startups. Then we've been talking about ChatGPT and illusion. And is anything real? Well, the illusion is about to get worse because if you thought ChatGPT was crazy, what just came out now is even crazier. So let's start with Silicon Valley Bank. Very, very dumbed down version, so we don't waste time because we were accused of dwelling too much on preamble the last time. But yeah, we're just trying to make sure that if this is the first time you're hearing about Silicon Valley Bank's collapse, what is it and why is it relevant to us as Africans?
Silicon Valley Bank is a bank for startups.
Okay.
In the US, in California.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Silicon Valley is in California.
Yeah.
Right. And it failed. That's the word I would say. It failed.
How?
So when people put their money, they see startups deposited their money. They maybe the money they raised or money
From transactions.
revenues, their revenues or their transaction processing that they deposited in the bank. The bank carried it and went to go and invest in something that was supposed to bring them gain because how else you want them to make money, but they made a mistake and invested in something they're not supposed to invest in for a long time
And it didn't work out.
And they felt that now that we are about to cast to, let's sell what we invested.
Yeah.
And now they are going to make a loss. The people that deposited their money in the bank are like, these people are in trouble. Let me go and carry my money the same way when your normal digital banks, immediately you start seeing trouble like this, I'll be removing your money. So people started withdrawing their money. And next thing, the bank was now unable to give people back their money. They were not like, let's raise. And the process of trying to raise again, more alarm was raised and more people were trying to withdraw their money.
Okay.
And this was going to run the bank down.
So how did it affect African startups?
So African startups that got invested in by foreign investors like US investors who told them to either incorporate in the US, they have to use that bank because I saw somewhere that more than half of VC-backed startups actually use SVB. So many African startups that were invested in by US VCs have their money, either the money that was invested in them or their revenue in SVB. So some African startups like Cheaper Cash and One Pipe that we know of have their money in SVB. But one said Cheaper Cash CEO said at the beginning of everything that happened that the money that they have in SVB is not enough to have like a significant effect on the bank, on the startup, and they have different places that they have their money, so this is not enough. Although claims came out later that they had more than that in the bank. Then One Pipe CEO told Techpoint that they've been able to access their money, and what actually saved them, like startups that have their money in SVB, is because the FDIC, federal
the US government shan't serve them.
That is like US government stepped in and they took over the bank, as it were. They now promised that because of plea, everybody will have access to their money eventually. Yes.
Okay, so let's not even draw too much on those details again. You can find the articles on Techpoint website, but two things I'm saying. Okay, we missed one. Signature Bank, a crypto bank, also collapsed. I made the whole thing, but it flew under the radar because it's not like as popular. But if you have a stable coin called USDC, not TO, C for cat, USDC, not T for T. So the company that issues USDC, Circle, had the money that the US dollar equivalent of that stable coin in Signature Bank. So Signature Bank also. Oof.
Yeah. So nobody saved them.
Well, yet to see if they're going to be saved. It's possible that I think they were saved. They were also in that circular.
They were.
Yeah, people will get their money back.
Good. So yeah, but I think the main issue now is there's a conversation about African startups' dependence on foreign investment. So right, you want to get into YC, you got to incorporate in Delaware, and if you're incorporating in Delaware, most investors, for safety reasons, I guess, tell you the money must be domiciled in the US, where it could be within easy reach. So the question now is there a way to remove this dependence? I mean, the Central Bank of Nigeria talked about launching an international finance center to help local companies bank in foreign currencies in Nigeria. But yeah, making it easier for companies to bank in local currencies, is that really the issue at hand?
No, I don't think
they're
so.
even promising that, I don't know how sincere they are, because as it were, you can't even pay for any foreign.
You can't pay for Udemy course.
You can't pay for anything with your Naira card.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the real issue. I think the real issue is where is majority of the investments coming from. From
foreign investors.
Yeah, because it's who is giving. I'll do whatever the person tells me to do. If somebody is giving me $1 million and I say, "Oh, don't worry, CBN has done something for me," let's say, "Is it CBN that gave you that gave you the money?" Right? So I think that is the real issue, and for me, I don't think there's really anything we can do about that. Our tech space is still. Like I always say, any new founder now is a pioneering member of the African tech ecosystem, because it's still very small. So until we get to that level where we now have people, Africans that can participate in more mega rounds, when you start seeing Africans leading $200 million rounds, then maybe by that time we'll not have to depend so much on foreign but that would take a very long time. If you ask me, to take a really, really long time.
Yep, a very, very, very long time. And I hope a lot of the issues in our regulatory environments get resolved in that time, because policy somersaults, where you say one thing today and tomorrow you're coming up with something different, removes a lot of confidence of investors. Foreign investments, we're talking about startups. Foreign investments in, say, the oil sector has reduced in this period. Like a number of other traditional sectors that people like to make money from this sector, most of them are reduced.
Wow.
So that's like a very, very big issue for investors. Even if it's a Nigerian investor, for instance,
yes,
will he even want to keep his money in Nigeria, knowing the
Inflation.
policy somersaults that would happen.
That's something.
Right?
That's another thing.
There's Mauritians rather,
Yeah.
for crying out loud. So why keep it in
Safe
Nigeria?
haven.
Yeah, a tax even their tax breaks and all of that. Yeah, things like the Startup Act could make things easier. But when you weigh the Startup Act and the broader macroeconomic conditions, you see that these broader macroeconomic conditions might be the ones to supersede a lot of the time. So from there, we move to the layoffs, right? Meta has laid off. Combinator has laid off. Reportedly not related to SVB closure, but they shall laid off.
I think the biggest one is Meta's layoff. In November, Meta laid off 11,000 employees, and now
It doubled it.
starting Wednesday, right? That's yesterday. It will be laying off 11,000 employees again. And the interesting thing I found out was that Meta is now back to the number of employees he had in 2021. So he took it just less than 2 years to get
To hire like
over
21,000
21,000 employees, and now is letting them go, releasing them back into the world as it were. And this consists mainly of HR and recruiters, collateral damage, and mid management. So the plan is to ironically make people to enjoy working, right? Because say you have a lot of people to say you are down here and this is upper management, you have to report to this one has to report to this, but now you are removing mid management, so you have to report directly to the upper management. The upper management might have to get their hands dirty in technical stuff, so once it's removing the hierarchy, right, for people to get work done quickly. And he said Facebook is going lean.
The year of
I think
efficiency.
it solves two problems for them, because I heard recently that big tech companies, someone was talking about it and said like the amount of bureaucracy in trying to get things out, when companies are that big, like things run very slowly, like really, really slowly. So maybe what this does for them is, okay, they save money and now things go out faster. Right, because they've spent a lot of money on their own Meta. I
think
about
that
13. I mean, after spending over $13 billion, but I think Facebook desperately needs something new.
Something game.
Yes, something new, and now this solves the problem of them spending. They have to spend so much money. And maybe we'll eventually see something come out now that the bureaucracy has been.
Okay, so
I should also mention that this is not just about Facebook. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's WhatsApp, there's
Meta in general.
There is that. I found out that in Meta's lifetime, it has acquired 91 companies.
Startups. Yeah, big tech that are like that. They acquire a lot of startups.
Some of them are dead. Some of them it absorbed. Well, so this layoff costs across
the entire
company.
That makes sense, right? But what you just mentioned now about acquiring, I was talking with Dev yesterday. Was like Facebook's hiring ethos has been always look for the guy that's going to be the next Facebook and hire him. So you don't just relax and say, "Oh,
you have raised it up. You have a monopoly, kind of."
If you see any smart guy, hire him. And it kind of sounds like, forgive me for using this biblical example, but at the time, David sees any strong man, attach it to him. David brings in. So, if you are a startup, you are building something that looks really crazy, big tech starts eyeing you very, very early on. And I saw something about a founder in Canada yesterday that is all his entire business model, acquiring startups, very early stage. They're acquiring 2 million, 5 million, and increasing their valuations. Very, very early stage, and he focuses on B2B vertical startups.
Mad money.
And it's just building a very, very wide network of acquisitions. But for big tech, he can even acquire you and kill you and then trick you into the system.
Or just kill you entirely.
Yeah. So, but for a long time, Facebook or Meta has been hiring people that they didn't need.
Yes.
Yeah.
which was like now.
Probably increasing his workforce.
Now, what do they need it for? They don't really need any of these guys for. So that's why they're talking about the year of efficiency, and their stock price is responding positively to this. But a key question here, which might be of interest to you, is the issue of remote work versus work from home. He addressed this. Mark Zuckerberg addressed this, and I think he's leaning towards a hybrid model. He's saying that he's noticed that employees, engineers, for instance, that are working from the office were more productive than the ones that were working from home. They've not been able to investigate why or blah, 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 but that is like the reality. So they're now looking at bringing in more junior guys to collaborate, to promote what experts call serendipity in the workplace.
Serendipity, like as idea comes, you start working on it.
But again, for proponents, can you put to be rolling around and banging his head against the wall like, what is this? Can Newport is the writer of Deep Work. So he'll be banging his head against the wall with things like this, right? But they want to promote an open space. You just talked about removing middle management and all.
Yeah. Well, anyways, there's really no one that can sufficiently argue for either remote work or working on site.
I think hybrid is the best.
Hybrid, yes. You have to find the balance between the two, because you cannot always have them on site, and you cannot always say people should not come to work, because they all have their adverse effects. The middle point is still hybrid.
Yeah, that works. So, the federal government has announced
over $600 million.
$672 million fund for tech startups. Now, that is the news. I don't think there's anything special about the news, but
special about the news is that only 45 million of that is coming from Nigerian federal government.
And that 45 million is loan from Bank of Industry.
Yes, So the other is coming from African Development Bank, Jones from Sede the Development. That is a French-founded bank. Then there's the Islamic Development Bank. Yes. So all these people are contributing to make up the. In fact, private sectors and institutional investors are also part of it.
And they're contributing a lot more than the government.
Yes, they are contributing $271 million.
Private sector.
Yes.
So I was talking with someone which day was that, and they were like, if you want to partner with the government on something these days, you have to bring your own money.
Yes.
Government will now support you. That is when they will now create enabling environment
you have to carry that along.
So you now carry them along. But what will now happen is you want to get a government contract to go and look for money. Then tell them, I have the money, I want to do this. And that's beside the case though. But for this fund, this is for startups, young entrepreneurs. It will be interesting to see how this fund is disbursed. And it's making me think, I've seen several initiatives like this before in the past. What became of those funds? This is not the first time the government is launching something like this.
Yes, so I think this will, the Startup Act rather, will go a long way in making this fund fruitful.
Okay.
You get, because you said it's for young entrepreneurs between the ages of 15 and 35. And it's not just...
They're even looking bored while talking about
it's not
this.
like SMS, small and medium scale
MSMEs.
It's not about them. They are talking about tech startup, and the Startup Act defined who a startup is, who a tech startup founder.
So I guess that's a valid question now. Is it that for you to access this fund, you
might have to
get labeled a startup by the federal government of Nigeria?
Pay a subscription fee or something like that.
I hope not. Where did you hear that? Did you hear something that we didn't know about?
No. Yeah, before you are certified a startup.
It's not. Is it subscription or registration?
Registration that you have to be renewing every year. What does that mean?
Is it renewing every year? Are you sure?
Well, the last time we talked about, I think that was what it's about. Okay. Let me not even bother my head with this. But we're going to be giving you more updates about this. I will see if we can reach out to some key people in government to talk more about this and explain how these funds will be dispersed, what makes you qualify to access this fund, and
any other nitty-gritty things. But yeah, we probably can't ask them why it's only 45 million they are dropping out of the money. But
Nigeria is broke.
It's still big money. It's still big money.
Okay.
But yeah, Naspers. Let's go to South Africa. South African investment giants Naspers is shutting down.
Naspers Foundry.
Wait, they are shutting down Naspers Foundry, or Naspers Foundry is shutting down a fund.
A fund.
Okay.
Foundry is a fund, right?
The Foundry is a fund.
Yes,
itself.
it's a South African focused early stage startup fund. So they invest in the fund is disbursed to early stage startups in South Africa, but now they are shutting it down. They started it in 2019, and I think it was a total of around $80 million, right? And they've only disbursed halfway. But now they're saying, due to the, current economic,
excuses.
Yes, so they're shutting it down.
Excuses. No?
Yeah, they're shutting it down, but companies that they've invested in already, they'll continue to work with them, things like that. But I think I noticed that if you started following tech, say if you're like me, I started following tech around 2021 thereabout. You might not know a lot about Naspers, so just a quick, a brief history of Naspers. Naspers is a South African company, very old company at that. I think
started as a newspaper company.
Yes, it's a media internet group conglomerate, something like that. Started around 1918, very old, long ago, and it has grown a lot. It's one of the most valued companies in Africa. I think it's worth around over $70 billion. It's Naspers invested. They're like the OG investors in Africa, right? The likes of OLX, Konga, Naspers backed, companies like that. But more recently, they were the lead investors in rounds like Planet 42, their $100 million raise.
Naked.
Yes, Naked. Naked. Startup is Naked. Yeah, the Naked $70 million raise. So basically, that's what Naspers is, and Naspers, it's not just that, right? It's even bigger companies. When you talk about companies like MultiChoice, companies like Tencent. If you don't know Tencent is one that builds chips for smartphones, your Samsungs and everything. So Naspers is a giant company. So what they are shutting down is the Naspers Foundry, right? About an $80 million fund, after South Africa focused on early stage startups, right? And they are shutting it down. So like I said, they are shutting it down because of the current economic situation of things right now. So the implications of that is, if Naspers is doing this, I'm wondering who else is thinking about. Yes, who else is thinking about doing this? And if people are sharing the same mindset with Naspers, it may affect funding in Africa. And I'm saying Africa because Naspers, yes, is South Africa focused, but it may affect Africa because whatever is happening in South Africa, believe me, most other African countries probably have it worse, right? So VC funds are probably thinking about, okay,
how do we cut costs?
Yes, how do we cut costs?
Like Combinator.
Why Combinator recently laid off around 20%.
Okay,
right?
So shutting down a fund is a lot more trickier than cutting costs, right? So, and it's making me wonder if there's a factor behind the VCs that is pushing them to shut down these funds. So funds raise money from people called limited partners, LPs. Now these LPs can be anybody.
Okay.
They are those behind the scenes. They are the ones backing these VC firms. So when you see a startup burning VC money, they're actually burning money of a pension fund. They're burning the money of a university endowment. They're burning the money of an HNI, a very, very wealthy person that's just, it could be anybody at all, right? It could be a non-profit. It could be a foundation that they raise this, that's VC firm raise this money
from.
Now, if these LPs are getting scared, could that lead to situations like this? If the pension funds are scared of the current startup markets, if the HNIs are scared of the current startup markets, if the non-profits or the foundations are scared of the current startup market, are they going to put pressure on the VCs to reduce investment, or is that a consideration? I'm not saying that is the case.
It's possible.
It's a possibility.
I think it's possible, and I also think what they will be pressuring them on might not just be to reduce investments, but to make sure that more investments are fruitful, right? Which now makes VCs now even put more pressure on startups. And
on average, 9 out of 10 startups fail. But the idea for VC is that one startup cover for the loss of the other 9, which doesn't happen. Some VC funds never ever even make anything.
So it's going to be like scrutiny will definitely increase before. So even at the end of the day, we might even see lower investments, because if scrutiny increases, it will be more difficult for you to convince VCs to invest in you, because if they are looking at nitty-gritty every single thing, right? Raising funds might now mean that you have to be doing something absolutely mind-blowing too. So I'm actually seeing this as it might even be a good thing, right? It might mean that you will not get away with joining blockchain and joining AI.
Just
and you raise 10 million.
You created a while loop on JavaScript and you're telling people that you're using AI. Come on.
So maybe we might now have people solving real problems on the continent, because money isn't that available anymore. So it might, people will now be on their toes, like, you have to really think of something.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So now, talking about this, founders, VC firms pumping money into startups that probably have a mind-blowing idea.
Okay.
Now, what is mind-blowing is how much OpenAI has raised.
Over
$1 billion. And Microsoft pumped a lot of money too.
Did you say over $1 billion? Was it not recently 10 billion?
10 billion?
Yes.
Okay. So far so good. We've heard that they've launched GPT-4.
Yeah.
Apparently, from the stories we are seeing, that $10 billion did not lose.
No, it did not.
It did not. If to make money.
No, they're no longer a non-profit too. They transitioned so deadly that nobody knew. Around 2019.
They did not tell us.
They transitioned.
You didn't just see it.
I mean, if someone gives you $10 billion, one of their
Elon Musk has pulled out now.
I didn't mention him, did I?
Okay, so
tell us about
GPT-4. Is like the new thing OpenAI is rolling out now. So if you think GPT-3 was, I said GPT. If you think GPT-3 was mind blowing, I mean GPT-4 will absolutely, like, it will just fry your brain, right? So GPT-4 is the new. It's an upgraded version. Just think about it. Upgraded version of GPT 3.5, right?
That's ChatGPT.
Yes, ChatGPT. So what they did was GPT-4 is now a multimodal, right? Which means it doesn't just take, the thing with ChatGPT is that you type, tell me about this, that, and then it gives you like, make it funny, make it this, make it that. That was pretty impressive, right? So what you can now do with GPT-4 is that aside from text, you can even upload images. So say you upload an image of flour, eggs, and then it can tell you, with these things you've uploaded, you can actually make pancakes. You can make
with
bread.
Flour.
Yeah, pancake flour.
I was thinking rose and
no, flour. So it's and then you can now upload even more text, so around thousands of words, more than around 30,000 or so.
Yeah, I heard you can generate novels now.
Yes. So an interesting thing they did in one of the videos I saw was they told it, someone uploaded different articles, right? And then it said find overlapping themes between all these articles, right? Really, really long articles. And he did it. I mean, that's definitely mind-blowing. Definitely.
This current
you not go and review that article that say ChatGPT will not take your job.
I mean, with GPT-4, it might now. Right? But, like thinking about the things it can do, people built out an entire, it coded an entire video game from scratch.
Yeah.
Entire websites from scratch. So, I mean, if
fear for your job,
but it will, for you to access GPT-4, you need to
upgrade.
Yeah, you need to be on the plus, on the pro version. I think $20. Thereabouts.
It's not much.
It's not much.
Have you subscribed?
Well.
Yeah, so it's not much.
No, for people who really have need for it. It's not that much, and it's really mind blowing what these things can do.
So it's mind blowing, all well and good, but this is Techpoint Africa, and we're talking about Africa. What is Africa doing with all of this, right? So if you notice, when GPT-4 launched, we started seeing other startups launching their very, very super cool AI products based on GPT-4. Duolingo, for instance, they launched an AI tutor. And Hello Wale of Old School. So, Intercom, they launched a customer service assistant that you can chat with and you barely know if it's a human you're talking to. Hello, Temai. And yeah, I'm saying like different companies, right? Building stuff based on GPT-4.
So what's Africa doing with it?
What are we doing? I mean, not just Wale and Old School. There's also Fundamates using WhatsApp to help students prepare for exam. Maybe this might be a good time to do something like that. But of course, this is me talking from the outside. I don't know the intricacies of actually building these things. Is it going to cost a lot of money? Because this is no longer a non-profit. So to make this API calls to GPT-4, I mean, so yeah, those are the considerations. Then beyond the considerations of startups that are building on GPT-4, please, if you build anything with ChatGPT based on ChatGPT, please reach out. A company you're building anything based on GPT-4, also please reach out to us. We'd really, really love to talk to you. But beyond that, who is going to build our own GPT-4?
For now,
build our own GPT-3.
For now, nobody.
Who is going to build that?
I can confidently say that.
Like AI, what do they call them? Those roles.
Machine learning engineers, ML engineers. So the issue with ML engineers, so I was talking with a founder which did a few years ago, and it's a talent company, and it's like a company is asking for an ML engineer, a senior ML engineer. Where is he going to find that person in Nigeria? Now, for front-end developers, for back-end developers, there's a pipeline for that, right? But where is the pipeline for ML in Nigeria? You will be in the trenches for a long time. You have to spend a lot of time learning.
And probably leave Nigeria.
You most likely have to leave
By the time you are
Nigeria.
ready to really work.
So, but is that feasible for a lot of people? You need to put food on the table.
True.
So the pipeline for front end, you just go and join a startup. Front end, back end, eventually. Now, cloud for some startups. But where is the pipeline for actual data scientists, not data scientists that I see some of the job roles? It is data analysis, I'm sorry. But actual data scientists, where is the pipeline? Where is the pipeline for ML engineers, right?
Cloud engineers.
For cloud engineers, where is the pipeline? I mean, cloud engineers, companies that need cloud engineers mostly need it at a certain stage. So where are those junior guys going to come? Initiatives like Old School are fine, great, but if you look at Old School's pipeline, there's really nothing much about ML going on there, right? Who are the people that are doing the pipeline for things like computer vision? Because, yeah, those are the considerations.
Yeah, there's a lot that we still have a long way to go.
We still have a long way to go, but the production team, they're telling us, you have tried, you have done well. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast today and for staying to the end. I hope you found these conversations interesting. If you have any thoughts about AI, and if we've been yarning dust about ChatGPT-4, if we've been yarning dust about AI in Africa and you think there's a lot more going on, please, we're ready to come and eat our awards in the next podcast and tell you we're sorry. if you can show me anybody that's building anything remotely close to OpenAI, I'm going to let me not dare myself.
Okay.
Wait. What can I dare myself with? I'm going to eat red hot rodo.
Don't.
On the podcast.
Yes.
What is
You eat it with me?
No.
Okay, so this is perfect time to remind you about the Lagos Startup Expo. Go to lagosstartupexpo.com and book your exhibition stand, and also register. Then all our newsletters, you're seeing a lot of these conversations happening in a very, very, very refined and thoughtful manner. The workaholic Nifemi talked a lot about these layoff issues, SVB closure. What does it mean for you? Is this a good time to even get into tech? Those are the questions that we're already asking on the workaholic. And fintech today, when funds are shutting down and all of that, what's the conversation behind it that we need to know about? Then if you just want to get a roundup of all the things that are happening in the tech space on a daily basis, just 5 minutes roundup, and you are just made smarter about everything that's happening in the African tech space, and even the global stuff that could be relevant to you. Please subscribe to Techpoint Digest. We'll be dropping down the links in the description. And please, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share with your friends, well-wishers, and enemies. Then, yeah, you're watching this on Instagram, watching this on, where else again did they watch videos? Oh, TikTok and Twitter. Oh, no. And LinkedIn, right? Please share with your friends and family. So, for our audio lovers, please, where can they find us?
Okay, you can find us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and anywhere else you get your podcast.
All right, people. See you in the next one.
Bye.